roadways in the valley remain open and ready for the more than 10,000 cyclists expected in the 15th Tour de Palm Springs. The good news?
We are going to go rain or shine. We are going to be riding anywhere from 1 to 100 miler.
The cold and rainy weather may not be an ideal start, but riders are passionate and ready for anything.
The rain can be tricky because the roads are slick. Sometimes it's the cold because then you have the added wind chill. So we'll just, game time decision.
Registration for the tour opens at 5:30 and cyclists start riding shortly after. Over 50 pallets of water and mountains of food will be handed out along the one-of-a-kind ride.
We have different SAG stops, which is stop and go, where the riders get their food and their drink, and there will be bands playing at every one of those. We even have spots where they play out in the middle of the desert, and nowhere else. We have riders coming in from everywhere, and they tell us, I've never ridden like this before.
The ride raised $275,000 last year, and thanks to the over 1,000 volunteers, it looks to be an even more successful event in 2013.
Without that volunteerism, this event could not happen. So we're really blessed to have everybody here as a community to help support over 200 local nonprofit organizations.
11,000 riders will hit the streets of the valley. Cyclists have the option to ride several distances. The longest route will cover 100 miles. One of the riders will be Scott Leeson. News Channel 3's John White has been following his story for nearly 20 years, starting on July 4th, 1993, when Leeson's life was changed forever in an instant.
911, what's your emergency?
We're in the Circle K. We've been shot. A customer called for help. The clerk, Scott Leeson, was on the floor, bleeding from his head. His sighted life, as he calls it, was over.
I talk about the two lives, and I was, as we discussed before, I was totally lucky to live that day. There was a 9mm. It went in my head, left side of my head, and came out the other side.
Leeson had to relearn everything. In 1996, he showed me how it was going. We went for a ride on his tandem bike, something he did for fun back then, now part of his passion for athletic pursuits.
Oh, no, I don't feel any soreness right now.
Leeson is in the Blind Stokers Club, a group that promotes cycling for everyone. He rides a tandem along with his captain, Daniel Powell, and they're a real team.
I'm fine. We call ourselves the Blind Trust because I've got to trust him on everything going on, in traffic and riding the bike.
We talk about everything. It's a true friendship and a relationship just from the sport that we share together.
Leeson lives in San Diego these days. In town for the Tour de Palm Springs, he returned to the Braille Institute along with the Blind Stokers.
Love you.
An emotional reunion, seeing his stepmom for the first time in years.
I'll hug again.
And seeing a former counselor, now Braille Institute director, who helped him when he needed it the most.
Within 10 days, she was at my hospital bed telling me about the Braille Institute.
I went over to let Scott know that when he was ready, that we would assist him in every way, emotionally, as he mentioned, teaching him orientation and mobility, and also all the adaptive skills that a person needs to learn when they lose visions.
They put a cane in my hand to teach me orientation and mobility, and the first skill they taught me was to put toothpaste on a toothbrush, and now I just squirt it in my mouth. But I kind of got the idea there.
Leeson wants to give back, and the Blind Stokers Club is doing that, getting new riders interested in cycling. Let's hear it for Hector! He also wants to thank everyone who helped him back in 1993.
Okay.
He'll never forget.
When I was blinded, we set up a rehabilitation fund for me, and a lot of people donated to it and everything, and I want to thank the desert for that rehab fund and donating, and let them know that the donations were well spent.
Leeson has also completed triathlons, riding, swimming, and running alongside his captain. He can also water ski and wakeboard with the best of them. We showed you his talents on the water a year and a half ago. He loves the water, he loves the road, and he loves helping others.
That's a good feeling. I'm always about giving back since I've gotten to a point where I can.
The event isn't only about bike riding. It also features a vendor expo that takes place on North Palm Canyon between Tockwitz and Alejo. The expo promotes bike gear, features local musicians, restaurants, and a beer and wine garden. The event attracts people from all around the country and the world.
This is actually one of the biggest events in the spring. There's a lot of people that come into this area, and we had heard this is a really good show.
The expo runs from 9 a.m. to 8 p.m. today. An estimated 11,000 cyclists will ride anywhere from 1 to 100 miles throughout the valley. Cyclists are raising money for more than 200 local charities.